Well, good morning. My name's Alexandra, and it is an honor to be able to share with you about my quiet time this morning. We are starting a new series on Mondays called Monday Mindset, where we'll be having different members of the congregation share what they're learning about God, about Jesus, about the scriptures, and kind of just sharing their thoughts from their quiet time and their walk with God. Specifically during this time of crazy quarantine. So welcome to my quiet time. I've got my coffee here, so I'm excited to share with you what God's been teaching me. Before everything began with this whole crisis, I was actually studying out the book Anxious for Nothing by Max Lucado. This is it if you've never read it. I have probably read this book 3 times and I've only had it for like 2 years, so can you tell I'm an anxious person? But it's an amazing book and I love it a lot. And actually my favorite part of the book is the devotionals at the end of it, because they ask great questions and it has great material, great verses. And I was thinking a lot before the crisis, I think about just how I was feeling afraid about the future. I had a baby 5 months ago. She's my second daughter, so love both of them so much. But I think becoming a mom and even adding a second baby has just made me think a lot about, okay, where's my life going? What's happening? What's going on? Like, what does God have planned? I'm, 32 years old. When am I going to own a house? Will I always live in the city? Will I live in the city? Just questions that we all have about our life and our future. And in this book, it was really, I decided to just take on my anxiety and battle it out with God. And then all of this happened. And it's kind of put a different spin on the concept of future for me. And here's the 2 of the verses I was reading today in my quiet time, and I'll share them with you. In Psalm 73, verse 23, it says, "Yet I am always with you. You hold me by your right hand." And then in Isaiah 41, verse 13, it says, "For I hold you by your right hand, I, the Lord your God. And I say to you, don't be afraid. I'm here to help you." I love both of these verses so much because you see that God wants to hold us by our right hand. You see that he wants to walk with us through life. You see that he wants to be with us. And I love that idea so much. And, I think as I was meditating on these verses, this excerpt from the book kind of came to me as well. And in the book that I was reading, here's what it says. It says, "When a father leads his 4-year-old son down a crowded street, he takes him by the hand and says, 'Hold on to me.' He doesn't say, 'Memorize the map,' or 'Take your chances dodging traffic,' or 'Let's see if you can find your way home.' The good father gives the child one responsibility: hold on to my hand." God does the same with us. Don't load yourself down with lists. Don't enhance your anxiety with the fear of not fulfilling them. Your goal is not to know every detail of the future. Your goal is to hold the hand of the one who does and never ever let go. And I think this idea of God, this picture of him holding our hand, is so powerful to me. I have a 2-year-old daughter and she loves to hold hands. It's her favorite. There's many times where Rosie will be crying or feeling some type of way, being a little toddler, in the back seat of the car, and she'll want to hold hands. She'll say, "Hold my hand," and I'll lean back and I'll hold her hand, and it's like immediate peace comes over her. Now there's other times, and this is always the inconvenient times, where we'll be like in a parking lot, and that's of course when she doesn't want to hold my hand and she's really mad about it. And I think that could be a little bit how I am too with God. There's some times where I just immediately want to hold God's hand, and where I'm like, oh yes, like I trust you, like I want to know, I want to be close to you, like I want to know what you think about this situation. But honestly, there's a lot of times where I just, I don't want to hold God's hand. I want to figure things out myself. I want to make my own way and forge my own path. And I think these verses remind me that I need to hold God's hand, but also that they're the safest place, that God's hand is the safest place I can be. The right hand in the Bible is symbolic of just being the pinnacle of strength and protection and salvation. And I don't know about you, but I think I can use a lot more of that this week. I really want to feel safe in God's presence. And I think it's easy for me to want to turn to the news for security, to turn to even good things like my family members or other disciples and other Christians, or even, social media can be something I turn to. But I think that ultimately where I'm going to find refuge, where I'm going to find safety, where I'm even going to find confidence about my future isn't going to come from any of those things. It's going to come from the hand of God. So that's one of the things I'm really focusing on today. And I hope that helps you, that even for me, I think specifically, I was so worried about all these things in the future. And then God kind of brought my life to a grinding halt this week. And I think it's a reminder to me that what's even the point of trying to figure out my whole life and my whole future? I just got to hold the hand of God and trust that He's got me. So anyways, I hope that this helps. I'm praying for all of you. I know that so many of you are going through times of uncertainty, and I just want you to know that I'm in it with you, and we are all trying to hold the hand of God together. I love you. Thank you so much for letting me share my thoughts.